Hi, welcome back to Deep Dive, where we take a good look round one of my 10 car garages that featured in my 300 car musical chill out garage tour, which I'll link below if you've not seen that already. And today, as you can probably tell from the Tampa that we have here, we're going to take a look at one of my muscle car garages, and this is the one that has very roughly the earliest, the 60s and the 70s cars in there. We're going to start with this, a C2 Corvette. Or is it? I intend, in fact, to do a little episode on this particular car at some point, because I'm not sure there's that much C2 Corvette in there at all, and I do think there's some better builds for the car. I lost the photo, unfortunately, by only keeping a link of the one that I was copying. Ultimately, it was a darker red. I'm not sure, though, that Cabernet Red and a Blaze Red Pearl really worked, so I don't really make a note of that. They're fun cars to drive. I got mine as part of the Criminal Enterprise pack, so I can have as many of them as I want. But objectively, $750,000 for a car that only looks partly like the car it's supposed to be seems a bit steep to me. You can steal the next car off the street or buy it, the Buccaneer, based very strongly on the mid-60s Riviera GS. It is more of a personal luxury car than a muscle car, but then where would I put it? So it goes in this collection. Drives okay, of course, perfectly well for a free car. It's also the basis for a Benny's upgrade if you want to. I'm very pleased with the crew colour I made up, and that's here. It doesn't quite stand up in full comparison with the photos being a touch dark, but it is a nice colour for this sort of car. And I've done a short review of the Buccaneer as well, including this specific build, so I'll make sure to link that down below for you. Moving on now then to the Ellie, but not done up as Eleanor from the movie. I forgot to write the name of the Resto Mod company to my shame, so I've put that on the photograph. It's Revology's Resto Mod on the GT350, which I think looks fantastic. My colour seems to be a little over bright compared with the photograph, but still I do like my colour. That's down there if you like it. If not, I think one of the in-game dark reds with a bright red pearl would work perfectly well. Anyway, I absolutely love Mustangs. I've got two of these, I've got two of the GTT, I think I've got two of the Dominators, and yeah, two of the ASPs as well. I just absolutely love them. I could fill garages with them. It's probably been a frustrated Brit who only sees a Mustang about once every 4 or 5 weeks if I'm lucky. Moving on now to the Impaler, based of course on the Chevy Impala, and I built mine on this Impala SS that I saw for sale, mainly because I like the colour. The one on sale I think has a few mods under the skin, but is essentially a very standard mint example. I think something we'd all quite like in our drive. I won't say too much more about the car because I did a video already with two different builds on the car, one drag build and one more classic build, and I'll link that down below. But a very nice thing to have in the collection. On now to a double Copo, as they're called, Camaro. And if you want to know what double Copo means, then I did a build on this car of a Yenko double Copo, and that is linked down below, and I explain at the start what that actually means. This one is a burger version of the same car, and again I stupidly only kept the link, and now the photo of the car I built has gone, so I've just popped in there a photo of a green one. You know, I really enjoy driving these. This one is actually, I think, tuned up pretty much to the max apart from the turbo, and you can pick them up from the street, so you don't need to worry that it says discontinued. So highly advise you have one of these in your muscle car collection. I recommend one of these as well, which you can pick up from the street, the Sabre Turbo. It's a little bit of a mishmash of a car. You can build it as a Chevelle, for example. You could build it as this Cutlass 442. He's taken influences from a lot of them. Sort of also looks like none of them, but still. Really cracking crew colour, I think. That really helps set this one off. Along with the ability to add the period wheels and of course that double ram scoop on the bonnet, which is one of the few visual optional extras for the car. Now this next one is discontinued, but very soon PC players will also be able to sell cars at the car meet. So I'm thinking of doing a sort of once a week, maybe half an hour car meet thing where I sell copies of my cars to subscribers who simply don't have it and really want it. So there's always a way now of getting hold of some of these cars. Now it's based on the Ford Falcon Futura Sprint, and I built this lovely yellow one. I realised that in game they've given us slightly more of a drag setup, but I just wanted to build the standard road car, and I did. For the longest time I never had one of these. I didn't think it was based on a real car, and then I found out from a Runner Unknown video it was based on the Dodge Dart Swinger 340, and indeed there are a number of elements on this car that match that car. And I built this one in the Dodge colour Limelight, for which there's a code down below. I think it looks really good. In fact, you can use that colour on a lot of old muscle cars, to be honest with you. I won't go to masses of detail because I did a review of this car and I also built it in a different colour which you might be interested in, so that is linked down below. I did a recent video on this car, or specifically the build, which is very well received. So it's Eddie Van Halen's Nova. Now it has been sold since. I think it's absolutely stunning. It is discontinued, but hey, perhaps if you're on PC I can sell you this particular one at the car meet soon, because I have rebuilt 9 of the cars in this garage already, but the one I couldn't bear to rebuild was this one, so it's still the same. This last car, the Beta Dukes, of which I actually have 3, is based on Dick Landy's classic drag car, and I'm quite pleased with the build. I rather liked it. It was something different that I can actually put on this car to the General Lee or a classic build on the car. I have changed it actually now to the Ring Brothers car Captive, which you can look up on the internet. And if you want to build on Captive, then let me know and I'll certainly do a little video on that one. Oh, I could never imagine having a sort of late 60s, early 70s muscle collection without one of these. Well, there we are. That completes the first of my 3 muscle car garages, and next week I'll show you the next one. So this week, as you can see, was mainly 60s cars. Next week is mainly 80s, but there is a little bit from 70s, 90s in there as well, and I hope you can join me again for that one. If you like anything you've seen, then of course do please consider giving me a like. Remember to check out the linked videos below for more details on the cars. If there's any questions you have on builds that you've seen on here that aren't answered elsewhere, then please go ahead and ask those. Of course, if you like real cars in GTA, do subscribe, because that's the one thing really I do on this channel. Leave you with a few more seconds of Eddie Van Halen Chevy Nova going along at full chat. Thank you so much for watching.